Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show in which it pays to be economical with the truth. On Lee Mack's team tonight, a stand-up comic who is back for more. It's Shazia Mirza. And from Gladiators, it's Matt Morsia, a.k.a. Legend. And on David Mitchell's team tonight, joining us for his first time, it's comedian Josh Jones. And an award-winning podcaster and TV presenter, it's Rosie Ramsey. We start with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They've got no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. First up, it's Josh.
I once jumped in a canal because a goose honked at me.
Lee's team.
What was the goose driving?
So, I'm scared of geese, right? And I'm walking down the canal in Manchester. There was a brick wall on one side of me, so I was trapped because there was a wall in the water.
Yeah.
And one goose was asleep, so I, sneaked past it. And then this other goose came in the middle and, quacked. So, and I don't speak goose, but it sounded not like a compliment. So then I went to turn around, and then the other goose was awake.
Oh, no.
I panicked and jumped in the water.
Classic.
What? You jumped in?
Yeah, jumped in. Pencil dive.
Not knowing how deep it's going to be.
I know those waters quite well because I used to go canoeing on the canals in Manchester when I was a kid.
In what circumstances were you canoeing?
Oh, so every Sunday I used to be in a canoeing club because he wanted to try and keep kids out of gangs. Well, it was on a Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, which doesn't feel like a big gang time to me, but that's when it was.
And how deep was it? Did you touch the bottom?
It was about hip height.
Doing a pencil dive was quite a penetrative dive. Did you go straight to the bottom and...?
Oh, no, but I bent my knees, you know, and...
So not strictly a pencil dive, then?
Well, by the time I landed, it was pencil.
That sounds like quite a controlled manoeuvre rather than a man, you know,
You're not the only athlete here.
You jumped in, and
Yes.
what was the immediate aftermath?
Well, I kind of just stood there for about, I'm going to say...
You stood in the canal?
Yeah, for like a solid 90 seconds, just kind of looked at the goose. The goose just started to look really confused.
Which goose?
The aggressive one. That was the one close to me.
Oh, it was good goose, bad goose?
Yeah.
I think it's like bad goose, apathetic goose.
Yeah, and then I just stood out of the water, walked past the goose, and I remember saying out loud to myself, I think you might have overreacted there, Josh.
You got out of the water and you walked past the goose?
Yeah, because...
Just negate the point. Surely you go past the goose, then get out of the water, otherwise you just jumped in and then got back straight to where you were.
the whole story was pointless. What happened was... I jumped in the water, realised the goose was kind of chill by this point, and then just thought, I'm going to risk it.
What colour was the goose?
Like, brown.
Black and brown?
With a black head.
I think that's the Canadian goose, isn't it?
Well, it might have been on holiday in Manchester, because it was there with me.
The other side of the canal, was that not an option to continue through the canal to the
No,
other
it was
side?
people's gardens, and it was already getting weird enough. I didn't want to go in. Johnny's said, having a cup of tea, what you doing? I'm running from a goose. I mean, that's not going to make my community look very good, is it? We're already seen as being dramatic, so I just...
All right, let's take a guess. Shazia.
I think it's a lie. It's just too outrageous.
I think it's true. You strike me as the kind of guy that would do exactly that. So I can literally picture him doing it. Do you know what I mean? I'm about 70% sure it's true.
So 70%, how can you measure it?
How sure are you that it's a lie as a percentage?
50%?
That's how we started.
Yes,
It was 50-50 before we started all this. And you've got... Oh, that's definitely still 50%.
Right, what's it going to be, Lee?
I've been persuaded by you that it's a lie.
How is that
Oh,
persuading
don't be
you?
persuaded by me.
Not you, I mean that spiel, not... I don't mean that, I mean, like, the things you said. has that series
Don't
of...
say it again. Don't keep saying it.
series of things that she said, how has that persuaded you?
Because I think she was very good in her argument, just not great at her maths.
I'm going to go with Matt.
All right, I'll say it's true. If Matt's, I think it's a lie, but you two think it's true.
That is weak leadership. You said lie.
I'm a weak man! I am a very weak man. There's a reason I didn't pass the test for Gladiator.
Yeah, but we're in
Gladiator's ready! And I went, not really.
Lee, mate, come on, let's go. Go with it.
Right.
You initially said
Will you
lie.
say it's a lie?
You said it's a lie?
Yes!
OK, Josh, was it lie or was it the truth?
It's true.
Yes, it's true. Josh did jump in a canal because of a goose. Matt, you're next.
OK. Sorry, that's just my original. I'm just trying to build. I'm trying to build the anticipation. Whenever I eat a banana, I eat everything. Including the skin.
David's team.
Oh, that's a good one.
So why do you do that?
A number of reasons. Firstly, easier. How much time do you spend peeling a banana? What do you say on average? I'm literally saving hours of time a year while you morons are peeling bananas. I'm out.
I take your point.
So that's reason
it's
one.
a time saver.
Reason one.
Yeah.
Okay. Reason two, there are so many health benefits to eating a banana skin.
Like what?
Skin health.
And also, afterwards, you don't slip on it.
So banana skins are
Kidney
good
health.
for human skin.
There's all kinds of nutrients, fibre, loads of good stuff in there.
Which end do you prefer?
The non-stalk end, obviously.
Classic chat-up line of Rob Brydon, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean...
You'll have to excuse my friend, he's not been speed dating before.
So you've used this, then, as part of your regime.
Yes.
This is part of how you've got a better body than Lee.
Better for what, though? I mean, try joining a darts team looking like that, mate. No chance.
Can I ask you as well, were you doing press-ups and bicep curls literally seconds before you came out here? Or is that you in a relaxed
It's a very
state?
vascular guy, yeah. No, this is me in a relaxed state.
Vascular.
Nice.
It's a strong look.
Thanks, mate.
Are you flirting, Rob?
A little bit.
It's working, Rob.
What have you eaten today?
So, Rob, let's start at breakfast.
Cornflakes and the box.
I had a protein shake comprising of 2 scoops of protein.
Protein, like from a lab? or
It's
protein?
a whey protein. It's a powdered form.
So you have a whey protein-based shake
Yeah.
for...
Does this pertain to the banana skin consuming? I'm thinking we're
We
going
want
way
an
off.
overall picture, and I'll thank you just to answer our questions, not question. It's your first time on the show,
Sorry,
Matt.
that's my bad,
You're very
yeah.
sure of yourself, but you'll play the game our way or no way at all.
No whey-based protein at all?
Yeah, you see, that's the sort of stuff we do.
I'm me, you just pointed at you. Can I be in the gang as well?
I want to know how it comes out the other end.
You don't think it comes back together as a whole banana?
You must give it a good chew, I imagine.
Yes. Although over time, my swallowing mechanism has developed to allow me to swallow bigger chunks of banana.
Me too, me too.
It's time to take a guess. Truth
Okay.
or lie?
What do you think?
I think it's true.
You think it's a lie?
Who's eating a banana with the skin on?
Him.
True.
You thinking it's true? OK. Matt, was it true or was it a lie?
You'll be glad to know, David, that it was in fact a lie.
Sorry.
Yes, it's a lie. Matt does not eat banana skins. Shazia, you're next.
I once got into big trouble at work after my boss saw what I was doing on CCTV.
David's team.
Right. Where were you working?
It was a food shop.
A supermarket.
No, it was a restaurant.
OK. In a sense, a restaurant's a food shop. Yes. But in another sense, it isn't.
there's food involved. I was selling food there, like ice creams and stuff.
It was an ice cream shop.
No, it was a restaurant. We've already established it was the type of food shop that's called... It's not a supermarket, it's a restaurant.
What, you were caught on CCTV? What were you doing?
I made up some ice creams.
So the ice creams you were caught on CCTV selling were not ice creams on the restaurant menu?
Yes.
Yes, I don't even know what yes means now.
Is it just an ice cream restaurant, or is it a restaurant that, amongst other things, sells ice cream?
It was a shop.
Genuinely, I feel like watching this back on television and it's been badly edited.
OK, it's ice cream shop.
What's it called?
Baskin Robbins.
What?
Oh, so that's a huge ice cream place.
Yeah, but it sells other things, doesn't it?
Where is this Baskin Robbins?
It's in Birmingham.
Birmingham. And the year?
2000 and...
Keep it below 24 is my advice.
2006.
So you're in Baskin Robbins,
Yeah.
and you said you sold your own ice cream.
No, I didn't sell my own. I made it up. Chocolate and vanilla is boring, isn't it? So I mixed the two together and made it, like, chocolatey banana-y.
How did you make it banana-y just using chocolate and vanilla?
And I did some bananas in it.
So now you talked about getting into trouble. How did the trouble come along?
One day, some boy band came in.
Which boy band?
band.
Duran Duran.
You're saying Duran Duran came in?
Simon Le Bon came in.
Just him?
Yeah.
Not the whole band?
No.
Hey, how hungry was he?
Hungry like a wolf.
Yes. Did he say, what's your special? Please, please, tell me now.
Don't look at me, I haven't got a clue.
You're in there, Simon Le Bon is chatting away. What happens?
He says, can I have an ice cream? I said yes. And then he says, what do you recommend?
Oh.
Now it's got interesting.
And then I
It's taken an hour, but here we are.
I just mixed a few flavours up and I served that to him. He really enjoyed it, apparently, and then he sent in some other band member of his band the next day to come and try.
Which one was it?
Which one?
It was the one that wears a lot of makeup.
Nick Rhodes.
Yeah, that one. Simon told the other one that...
And if Simon tells them they have to do it, that's the game, isn't it?
No. Simon says... You've got to go in there. They do amazing ice creams, and the girl behind the counter, she will do you something you've never seen before.
She'll literally do 3 different flavours scooped next to each other, even though, as we all know, that's illegal.
So how did you get into trouble?
It was seen on CCTV that I was mixing...
A little bit from here, a little bit
Well,
from
who's
there.
not going to want to watch that? Because it's gripping viewing, isn't it?
What was your punishment?
I got a letter of warning.
An official warning?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What are you thinking there, David?
I'm thinking that I can't remember before the time we were discussing this.
Is what she just said true?
We're saying it's true.
What?
Yep.
The holes in the story.
Yes, but she's not trying to convince us at all. That's a clear hallmark of someone who's got a truth on a card and is trying to make it sound like nonsense. The fact it moved from food shop to restaurant to ice cream parlour means it was always an ice cream parlour. It was always Simon Le Bon. She was trying to make it sound unconvincing. Well, I'm not having it.
You're going to overrule...
It's true.
So you're going to overrule the only woman on your panel. That's a shame.
And a gay.
OK, they think it's true. So, Shazia,
Yes?
here we go. Was it true, or was it a lie?
I'm afraid it was true.
Yes, it's true. Shazia did get in trouble when she was caught on CCTV. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. It's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Ryan. So, Rosie, what is Ryan to you?
Yeah, this is Ryan. He went viral after I secretly filmed him singing in the car.
Josh, how do you know Ryan?
This is Ryan, and I was forced to take part in a hot dog eating contest with him.
And, David, what is your relationship with Ryan?
This is Ryan, and he let me have a go at painting a parking space with his special contraption.
So, there we have it. Rosie's musical mate, Josh's hungry helper, or David's paint pal. Lee's team, where will you begin?
Would you mind just telling us again, Rosie? Sorry.
This is Ryan, and he went viral when I filmed him singing in the car.
What was he singing?
I will do anything for love, but I won't do that.
Why, what were you asking him to do?
He was driving me home.
He was driving you home?
He's a driver that we sometimes use. Me and Chris, my husband.
So you are in the back seat?
Yes.
With Chris at this time?
No, Chris wasn't there.
He is doing the singing?
Yeah, he was singing.
And what were you doing?
I was trying to sleep in the back, if I'm honest with you.
So you're creepily filming behind his head.
So I could see the back of his head. You couldn't see his face.
But how is that? That's gone viral.
Yeah.
The back of his head singing.
Yeah.
I find that hard to believe.
Well, to be fair, if it was the back of his head singing, that would go viral. If that hair parted and there was some lips, I'd watch that.
What's viral?
It got 5 million views.
5 million? Him singing that back of his head?
Yeah.
Has he got a beautiful voice?
Yeah, he was singing Meatloaf, and he sounds like Meatloaf.
Was he singing along to the radio?
Yeah.
And he sounded like Meatloaf?
Yeah.
And you couldn't see his lips moving? Can you see where I'm going with it? I think there's a possibility that all you've done is record the radio.
Where did you post it?
Instagram.
How many followers you've got?
I've got about 950,000 followers.
I don't know much about this world. Is that good?
Followers.
Good, yeah, it's good.
Nearly,
Good.
it's nearly a
How many
million.
have you got? How many have you got? I want to gauge what's good and bad.
200,000.
That's good, isn't it? That's good. Have you got followers?
1.1 million.
1.1 million?
Yeah.
Oh, did you
Wow.
buy them?
That's it.
Things that go viral on the internet are
back of
generally
someone's
you
head,
can
yeah.
see their face.
Yeah.
Or not some of the ones I've seen.
Were you filming on just a phone?
Yeah.
Because the microphone on the phone is pretty poor. If you're sat behind him in a noisy car on a motorway, radio's going, you're behind him, your story is falling apart. There is no way in a million years.
Hey, Matt, can I ask you this? Is there anything that you don't know a little bit about? OK. How do you know Ryan, Josh?
So this is Ryan, and I was forced to take part in a hot dog eating contest with him.
When was this?
About 10 years ago. It was the opening of a new hot dog restaurant, and there was...
A hot dog restaurant?
Yeah.
Were you with him?
We lived together. I lived with him and a bunch of other Viking reenactors, because he's a Viking reenactor.
Now, for the first time in the whole evening, I believe that. Were you a Viking reenactor?
No, but they kept all the spears and shields in our house, and sometimes when they wasn't there, I'd do a little naked photo shoot.
How did the competition come about, then?
OK, so earlier that day, I went for an all-you-can-eat buffet, right, with my friend.
Terrible idea on the day of a hot dog eating competition.
Well,
He didn't know,
I
did he?
didn't know. As I left, my brother phoned me and was like, I need you and Big Ryan. Because, like, Ryan's my friend, but people, like, borrow him when things need eating or moving, really. So...
If any leopards need shooting.
Yeah. So my brother...
So your brother entered a competition?
Yeah, and you need 4 people in a team for this hot dog eating competition, and they had 2 dropouts. And I was like, I can't help you, I've just come out of buffet, like, I'm full. And he was like, you can do it. And I love a compliment, so I was like, I'll be there. So then I had about 7 hours to get ready for this competition.
I said get ready, just not eat.
I did a few star jumps, tried to make a bit of movement, and then I'd been Googling all day what you're supposed to do in an hot dog eating competition is you're supposed to wet the bread because it's quicker to eat bread if you wet it right. The way they do it is you have all the hot dogs on a tray, right, and then they weigh them all, and then the most weight wins, right? So I said to the 3 lads I was with, I was like, boys, you get the hot dogs, I'm going for the buns. So...
That's a great name for an autobiography.
Yeah.
So you're there, the tension's mounting. You're eating a hot dog.
No,
you're on bread.
I said I took the bread.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No wonder these geese hate you.
And how much did you eat?
Well, we came second. Me and Ryan carried the team. I was a machine, and I was just like swallowing this bread whole, and I was getting a crowd around me. They were like looking at me. The weird thing is, though, a couple of months ago, I matched with a guy in a dating app, and he was like, "Hey, about 10 years ago, did you do a hot dog eating competition?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he went, "I've never seen someone destroy bread so manically." And he was like, I was genuinely terrified, and a bit of me was like, "Yeah."
Right. How do you know Ryan, David?
Well, he let me have a go at painting a parking space with this special contraption.
Did you seek him out?
I was passing with my daughter. It was in the car park outside a hotel. It was a hotel in Cardiff, actually. The parking spaces had already been painted at some point in the past, but the thing is that they'd faded to a certain extent, and the hotel, wishing the whole place to seem spick and span, had commissioned Ryan here to repaint the lines.
Commissioned him? Like an artist?
I'll admit it, I put it in a needlessly poncy way.
David, that's not like you.
What was the contraption?
The contraption was a sort of cuboid on a stick and an accompanying jug. And the cuboid allows a certain amount of the paint to, as it were, leak through in a square pattern. And paint goes on the lines with straight edges, just like you'd want with a parking space.
Right.
And as we walked past, my daughter took an interest.
Right.
And then Ryan said hello, and then he said, "Would you like to have a go?"
Did he say it from the back of his head, the way he sings Meatloaf songs?
He turned to me, he said it to my face. If I'd videoed it, it would have gone viral.
Your daughter took interest, but then you just hogged the thing and did all the...
I didn't hog the thing. The two of us held
cuboid.
it together.
I would imagine, Matt, that you know quite a bit about painting parking spaces. So does this add up for you?
It's strange that a professional car park space painter would just let a random bearded man grab his thing.
I am so sorry. When you look at his body of work...
I don't think Ryan has ever used the phrase, "He looks like a random beardy man," in his life. Unless he's looking in the mirror cleaning his teeth.
It's David Mitchell.
That's even worse, because we know he's not done car park space painting before. A random guy, maybe he has. We know David's never
If
done
you've ever
that.
seen him with his daughter, it's a lovely sight, the two of you together.
It's like the Mitchell family version of going to Alton Towers.
Right, we need an answer. Is Ryan Rosie's musical mate, Josh's hungry helper, or David's paint pal?
Right, well, what do we think of Rosie?
Unless she's misdescribing that video has not got 5 million views.
That would not get 5 million views.
Well, I
off
don't
the
know
back of a
enough.
head.
I don't know enough about that world.
I think it's Josh.
Very believable, yeah.
Well, I didn't think it was Josh until he said, 10 years later, I meet this bloke
On the apps.
On the apps, right? And I think that's a bit of detail.
Josh is on the apps.
He's added... Is he on the apps?
He's on the apps.
Yeah.
What do you think of David's story, Matt?
I can't see a professional car park space painter just letting a guy take the reins, and it's just not going to happen, is it?
Well, it's illegal.
Stop giving me a go in a Harrier jump jet.
It's time to go for a guess.
You going for Josh?
Yeah.
You're going for Josh?
Yes.
Let's go with Josh.
Saying that it's Josh, OK. Ryan, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Ryan, and Josh and I did a hot dog eating contest.
Yes, Ryan is Josh's hungry helper. Thank you very much, Ryan. Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Lies, and we start with Lee.
I briefly dated a girl from the circus after she flew too far out of a cannon and landed in my lap.
David's team.
Oh, when was this?
This was this morning. No, this was in 1988.
What was her name?
Her name was Lola. She was a showgirl.
OK. Usually, as I understand it, the firing out of a cannon act, it's not actually done with gunpowder, is it?
They make the explosive noise, but actually it's just a spring system.
Yes, but usually the landing place is also within the stage area. They don't tend to fire someone into the crowd.
Of course, it wasn't deliberate.
So what had happened?
Well, it was a combination of overly sprung spring and terrible trajectory.
OK.
Terrible for them, beautiful for us.
But was it not...
She broke both her legs, but we fell in love.
That was what I was going to say.
She couldn't run off and leave me.
And yet she has.
Yes. How do you know she left me?
I can't imagine it being possible for someone launched in that way to land lightly and non-disastrously.
It wasn't lightly. It wasn't lightly. You haven't met Lola, have you?
No.
I'm surprised she managed to get in the cannon. Very muscular woman. She had to Vaseline herself in every night.
You read off the card that she landed in your lap.
Correct.
Would not crashed through your torso be more accurate?
The sentence may be a tad exaggerated and probably should have read, I briefly dated a girl that I met online. But when I told the producers, they said, can we just... I don't know. Can she be fired from a cannon?
All right, well, what do you think, Josh?
I think it's true.
It does have the ring of truth.
Yeah.
Rosie.
No.
David.
Well, I think on balance we'll go lie.
They think it's a lie. Lee, was it a lie or was it actually the truth?
It was, in fact, a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Lee didn't date a girl from the circus. Oh, that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal that Lee's team have 2 points and David's team have 3. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.